Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas! Yes, if you can't tell by the decorations behind me, it's the Christmas time. It's the Christmas season. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. And though the Cinderella Circle had concluded, a very special Christmas Cinderella has made itself known to me. So I'm just hopping on here to wish you a Merry Christmas and to share this adorable Christmas tale. A Cinderella Christmas on Hulu. It's like Hallmark Christmas movie meets Cinderella classic, and they just... That's them making out under the mistletoe, obviously. Let's do a quick breakdown of A Cinderella Christmas. We have our Cinderella. Her name is Angie. She's a hard-working event planner, and she is in business with her lazy cousin, Candace. Now, Candace, taking the place of the wicked stepsister, is an emotionally manipulative person, and she's very good at it, and she uses this tactic all throughout the film. She has convinced everyone that all of Angie's hard work is actually Candace's hard work. For Christmas, Angie has decided to buy her cousin out because the businesses are owned by the uncle, who is Candace's father, Uncle Otto, taking the place of the wicked stepmother, although he himself is not wicked. But Candace, being emotionally manipulative, gets her worm in the ear before Angie gets a chance to talk to him and persuades her father to sell the business to Candace so that Angie has to buy out her cousin, who continues to not do any of the work. You see, Candace doesn't believe in hard work, and she just knows how much it means to Angie. So wouldn't it make sense for Angie to do all the hard work? Yada, 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 yada. Okay, so our ball is a Christmas ball, and it's called the Chris-Masquerade, where everyone will be in masks, no names. Perfect setup. And there's a game. It's the stocking game. Ooh, I'll be right back. Whee! The stocking game. So our glass slipper is an adorable Christmas stocking. So clever, so cute. Now they're planning this big Chris-Masquerade for a very handsome businessman, Nicholas Carmichael. Remember, it's Christmas, so his name is Nicholas. But it's Cinderella, so they're gonna meet at a ball. So he extends an invitation to Candace, who takes the credit for the ball, and Candace takes off the rest of the day, not that she was working anyway, to get her hair done, do a body scrub, do a body peel, get a manicure, get a facial, all of this stuff, while Angie actually puts the ball together. Now, the Christmas sock is very important because you have to put in 5 personal items, and it's participating in a game of swapping stockings, essentially. Candace is off about doing her work, and Angie is preparing the ball because she's the event planner, but she notices Candace has missed her appointment, and Candace is like, oh no, that place you sent me to, it ruined my skin. I'm sorry, it's not funny. The place that she got her diamond facial rubbed her raw, and so she can't go to the ball that night because, my God, her entire face is inflamed. So Angie is like, well, you still have a beautiful dress to pick up. There's a couture ball gown waiting for her, except it doesn't feel like it's made for Candace because it's not. It's made for Angie. And our fairy godmother is the seamstress who made this beautiful ball gown. It's an off-the-shoulder ice blue ball gown. So flares at the waist and a gorgeous half mask with a butterfly mirroring. It's beautiful. She feels like a fairy princess, but Angie says, oh, the dress isn't for me. Shucks. Our Angie is very meek at the beginning. She's allowing her cousin, you know what? Let's not say she's allowing her cousin. She is orphaned and is emotionally indebted to her cousin and her uncle. So because of that emotional debt, she feels she owes it to Candace to let Candace get away with everything while she does all the hard work because reasons, you know? We can't explain ourselves as people all the time. We're emotionally complex beings. But Candace can't make it to the ball because Candace has rubbed off all of her skin with all of that pampering. Ouch. Diamond facial was a mistake. And so Angie goes to the ball instead. And since she planned the ball, she knows how to get in, all the rules. She knows how to play the stocking game. And at the ball, she meets Nicholas Carmichael. They have chosen each other's sock from a magical tree of Christmas stockings. His is a homey old sock. Hers is ice blue and matches the gown she's wearing. And they end up talking all night, dancing, almost sharing a kiss. But of course, the clock strikes midnight. And Candace had called our Angie to, pull those strings, saying, you better not be seen partying at that ball before the midnight cleanup. And so Angie, in loophole fashion, is like, oh, I won't be seen. A tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. So before the clock strikes midnight, Angie hightails it out of there, leaving Nicholas Carmichael confused because they really did bond. And instead, she goes back to the kitchen. She's back in her catering clothes. She FaceTimes with the cousin as proof. And everything continues on as regular. Except our Nicholas was so taken by the mysterious woman in blue that he issues a proposal across the internet the following day. He's fallen in love with this woman and he will marry her if she shows up with her stocking. Cousin Candace is like, he doesn't know who this woman is. I can still have a chance. She approaches Angie. She says she wants to return the dress, but Angie says you can't return the dress. It's one of a kind, no refunds. But Candace is just that type of person. She doesn't care what the policy is. She's the policy. And when she grabs the dress, she recognizes it because it's splashed all over the internet. And so now Candace realizes it was you at the ball. You're the one that he wants to marry. I have an idea, cuz. Let me just pull on those emotionally manipulative strings. She coerces Angie into telling her everything that happened at the ball so that Candace can pass herself off as the masked woman that he wants to marry in exchange for the business portion that she finagled. So Angie, feeling like her hands are tied, agrees. Because here's the thing. Nicholas Carmichael is a bit of a playboy. He's a cad. She doesn't know she can trust her heart with him. Surely that can't be the man I bonded with, she says, but he is. And so now, Nicholas Carmichael hires them again. They planned the ball, so he wants them to plan the wedding. And she shows up at his desk. He thinks she's the first candidate to interview, and he doesn't recognize her in classic fashion. So now she's affronted because he claims he'll be able to recognize this woman. And she's like, well, yeah, how would you know she's not standing right in front of you? He. And he says, oh, I'll know. We bonded. Ba-da-da-da-da. So now we have sort of a love-hate banter thing going on. And Angie is planning the wedding for this man, and essentially what would be herself if she were to accept such an offer and to tell him the truth. But of course she won't, because we have a lot of movie to get through. So Candace comes forward as the woman at the ball. Oh, I was just too shy. Oh, I don't want you to think that I'm weaseling my way into your business. My business is so important to me. So now there begins this dance, this tango, where Candace is trying to pass herself off as Angie, who is soft-spoken and sweet, sentimental and deep, whereas Candace is splashy. Candace does things for the attention exclusively. Candace wants the wealth and the riches, and she doesn't care that this man doesn't actually want her. He is her goal. He is everything she's convinced herself she wants. So Candace begins weaving a web of lies and emotionally manipulating him, emotionally manipulating her. Eventually, she comes up with a plan. They are party planners. So she says, why don't we put those little mics on that we use during planning, and you can be in my ear while I'm having conversations with him. It gets pretty devious. a lot of lying occurs. But behind the scenes, Nicholas and Angie just keep bonding and getting closer, and he's very confused. Candace isn't anything like the woman he met at the ball, and yet somehow she is. She seems to know everything they talked about, and she seems to reflect and share those moments again, but it's only a glimmer because it's Angie in her ear. Well, eventually this tango goes back and forth until it becomes evident to Nicholas that the woman he met at the ball must be Angie, but he needs proof, and he has the stocking. What's in here? Well, sentimental things, of course. So he begins to piece her personality together based on what's in the stocking. Remember, they were supposed to be filled with sentimental things. His were filled with items about travel, items about homesickness and manifesting his own business. Hers are filled with sentiment. A rose from the cemetery that her parents reside in, a book of matches from her favorite restaurant, for she longs to travel, and of course she doesn't have the time to travel. She's busy running a business for 2 people. Well, eventually Nicholas catches Candace in the lie when he finds the dress that wasn't supposed to be returned, and he talks to the seamstress / our fairy godmother to find out who bought it and who returned it. And that's when he gets confirmation. Candace is the one who returned it, but Angie was the one who bought it and wore it at the ball. So now he knows it's Angie, and he goes to confront Candace. But Candace is a master manipulator, and she keeps pulling those strings. Oh, if that was true, then, and I'm not saying that it is, but, and so on and so on and so on. And she fills his head with doubts. And so the wedding continues. And he confronts her without confronting her. It's now the day of the wedding. And because he's not honest, she's not honest. And she hasn't been honest because he didn't recognize her. There's just so much miscommunication. But at this point in the movie, Angie has built a backbone. She's going to stand up to her cousin Candace. And she says that she's not going to go through with this wedding, that she can't let him get married on a lie, and that she quits. And Candace lets it rip. Well, I'm going to marry him anyway, and you don't have to be here, and blah, 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 blah. Locks her out because, of course, Angie wants to tell the truth. It's the day of the wedding. Here she is a bride. She's like, we have to set up our microphones, and that's what set Angie off. She's like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. But then who should come along is Nicholas. Now, Nicholas already knows that Candace is not the woman he met at the ball, but he doesn't come out and say that. He's got to trap Candace in a web of her lies, right? So he tells her for the wedding, he's decided to forsake his trust fund and to live like normal people. And Candace is like, that's not what I want at all. But that's when he's like, Candace, I know you're not the woman that I met, and I'm not marrying you. And her microphone was on the whole time. So everyone at the wedding heard both her conversations with Angie and with Nicholas, including her father, who had no idea that Candace was involved with such treachery. So the wedding is canceled. Candace opens up to her father about how she feels like he's always loved Angie more because Angie was a hard worker like he was. So she went above and beyond to become something more. And what could be more than becoming a Carmichael in her mind? She apologizes to Angie. Uncle Otto apologizes to Angie. It's actually a great talk in how trying to make them equals, he made everything unfair. And then, of course, who shows up? Nicholas, and they have their first honest talk. I was waiting for you to tell the truth. Well, I was waiting for you to tell the truth. Ain't that always the way? And then we have our Christmas wedding after all. Yay, because Christmas means intense falling in love real fast. Now, if this was real life, we'd be like, all right, well, getting married in 2 weeks after you just met the person, maybe don't do that. Maybe red flag. But this isn't real life. This is a Cinderella story. And that's just how the story goes. So let it happen. Embrace the whimsy. It's really fun to watch. It is definitely Christmas beautiful. Worth checking out if you have Hulu. A Cinderella Christmas. She follows all of our traditional Cinderella guidelines. Orphan. Connection with animals. She has a little pet rabbit that she tells everything to. She has her transformation sequence by going to the ball and standing in her own courage. So that's also an evolution. She's becoming a new version of herself. And the prince also, he has to grow up throughout the film. At the beginning, he's being coerced into marriage for his trust fund, but by the end, he's ready to give up the trust fund because he doesn't want to be pressured into a wedding with someone who could just ruin his life. It's better not to be married at all and not have a trust fund than to be married to the wrong person and have no trust at all. There is, of course, the emotional manipulation. That's the abuse of the tale. And unfortunately, that's something that's pervasive in life. We all face emotional manipulation from people, even when they're not intending to do it. But especially when they are, it's difficult to pull ourselves out of those situations. The glass slipper is the beautiful stocking. What a fun way to do it. Our fairy godmother is the seamstress. Everyone is there. All of the players are in place. And it's a really fun Christmas edition. So if you're in the mood for a Christmas story and a Cinderella story smacked together in one, check it out. And have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And cheers, onwards and upwards, everyone. We made it. We're almost into the next phase of our lives. I'm so proud of you. Well done. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Christmas time comes once a year. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. But it feels like more because it's playing movies since July, and that's a lot of Christmas movies. Bye.